Welcome back to Newsroom. I'm Chella Smith. This is your Middle East U.S. entertainment news here on YouTube. I air on Fridays. I bring you the latest on reforms and economics Iraq based on reports put out by the Middle East news media outlets. I do this weekly review and it's based off my interest. Thank you everyone for joining me. Last week we talked about new denominations, digital currency, and the electricity sector. Let's take a look at this week's headlines. Shafaq News reports the World Gold Council announces on Saturday that Iraq was the largest producer of gold in the world during the second quarter of 2022. The council said in a tubular report that Iraq bought 33.97 tons during the second quarter of this year, bringing its balance to 130.3 tons, followed by Turkey by buying 26.60 tons, then Uzbekistan by 26.44 tons. He also added that the most countries selling gold during the second quarter of the current year in 2022 was Germany, followed by Mongolia, followed by the United Arab Emirates. Baghdad Magazine News reports Iraq has obtained the position of vice president of the Arab Parliament. The representative of Iraq, MP Sheikh Salan al-Karim, won the position of deputy speaker of the Arab Parliament. This is the first step for Iraq to assume such of a high-level position to be decision-making in the Arab affairs. Shafaq News reports the Iraqi Stock Exchange announced Sunday the suspension of activities for one day. The market said that based on the decision of the Council of Ministry to declare an official holiday for the period of one day on the occasion of the National Day of the Republic of Iraq, the markets will not organize a stock trading session for Monday. They resumed on Tuesday, October 4th. It is noteworthy that they organized 5 trading sessions per week from Sunday to Thursday, and that includes 103 Iraqi joint stock companies representing the sector of banking, telecommunications, industry, agriculture, insurance, financial investment, tourism, hotel, and services. Speaking of the Iraqi Stock Exchange and why they were celebrating, Baghdad Magazine News reports Monday was organized of festive events in all regions of the capital on the occasion of the National Day of the Republic of Iraq. A mayor of Baghdad directed all municipal departments and sections to organize large celebrations, including launching fireworks in the sky of Baghdad and distributing Iraqi flags to the security forces and to citizens in celebration of the festive activities that started on Monday and ended on the 3rd of October at 7 in the evening in all regions of the capital for the people of Baghdad to participate in their celebrations of the National Day. It is noteworthy that the Council of Ministry voted on September 1st, 2019 to choose the 3rd of October as the National Day of the Republic of Iraq of the occasion of the end of the British Mandate in 1932 AD and the independence of the Iraqis to become the 57th country in the world's hierarchy and a new member of the League of the Nations, the international organization at that time, and become a holiday officially celebrated by the Iraqis of different regions, sects, and nationalities. According to Baghdad Magazine News, the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, congratulated Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazemi on the occasion of the National Day of the Republic of Iraq. Blinken said, on behalf of the government of the United States of America, I congratulate Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazemi and the Iraqi people of their National Day, October 3rd. It is a day that makes us remember what pride the achievements of Iraq and the perseverance of its people. Over the past 90 days, Iraq has sought through many ordeals to promote a more exclusive and equitable society for its citizens and for the future generations of Iraqis, stressing that the United States remains committed to the strategic partnerships with Iraq, deepening and strengthening their relationships under the U.S.-Iraq Strategic Framework Agreement. He continued on saying, I look forward to continuing our work together regarding our common priorities and strengthening the ties between our people. I wish the Iraqi people the best wishes and prosperity in the coming year. Shafaq News reports Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kazemi heads to Erbil this past Monday, the capital of Kurdistan region. Shafaq News agency learned from an informed source that al-Kazemi participated in the anniversary ceremony of the death of the former president of the Republic, Jalal Talabani, on Monday. The source added that the Iraqi Prime Minister was accompanied in ceremony by the president of the Kurdistan region, Narchevin Barzani, the president of the Patriotic Union of the Kurdistan Kyrgyzstan's the President of the Republic, Barham Shalay, the Speaker of Parliament of the Kyrgyzstan region, and a number of parties' representatives. Shafak News reports the head of the federal government, Mustafa Al-Kazimi, says that the government has contracts with major oil companies to develop infrastructure and energy production sector in the country. Al-Kazimi says in an interview with French newspaper Le Figaro, Iraq is an important country in the field of energy production, and we have worked on developing energy infrastructure to be able to secure the energy markets with high flow. We have signed important contracts with the total to expand the flow of energy supplies, extracting associated gas in our oil fields, and developing clean and alternative energy projects. He also went on saying that we have changed the title of the Ministry of Electricity to the Ministry of Electricity and Alternative Energy, an indicator of our government's direction towards moving towards clean energy that is suitable for the environment. Al-Kazimi continued, we have other important contracts with major oil companies to develop infrastructure in Iraq, and Iraq will remain an important source of energy production in the world. At the same time, we are working hard to adapt our energy production to modern standard appropriate to the environment to protect it and maintain its safety. Shafak News reports the Iraqi politician, former MP Matal al-Alouzi, says Wednesday that the briefing on the United Nations Security Representative Janine Plasheret at the UN Security Council may push towards guardianship over Iraq. The trusteeship system applies to countries that are defined in an international law as deficit in sovereignty and are subject, according to special conditions, to an agreement whose implementation is supervised by the Trusteeship Council of the United Nations. The international trusteeship system came as an alternative to the mandate system that was applied during the era of the League of Nations, which was replaced by the United Nations, which was established in 1945 in order to settle the situation of colonial countries in accordance with the international legal legitimacy that moves them gradually from a situation of complete colonism to a transitional situation followed by a complete independence. Al-Alouzi told Shafak News Agency Plasheret's briefing revealed to the international community that the tragic situation that Iraqis are experiencing due to the corruption of parties and blocs and the dominance of militia loyalty to Iran and the involvement in killing and robbing Iraqis. And he indicated that the international communities will not remain a spectator of what Iraq is going through, and for there is a possibility for the international guardianship to intervene in Iraq during the next stage in order to ensure its stability, which will be reflected in stability of the entire region and in the world. Tuesday evening, Plasheret gave a briefing to the United Nations Security Council on the situation in Iraq, in which she confirmed the difference prevails over the language of dialogue and that the southern province are witnessing armed skirmishes and political classes is unable to resolve the crisis. The disappointment of the people has reached sky high. Many Iraqis have lost faith in the ability of the Iraqi political classes to work for the benefit of the country and its people. Continued failure to address the distrust will exacerbate Iraq's problems, said Plasheret. She pointed out that the political system and the system of governments in Iraq ignores the needs of the Iraqi people. The rampant corruption presents a major root cause of dysfunction in Iraq. No leader can claim that he is protected from it. Keeping the system as is will rebound with negative results. A lot going on in Iraq right now. During the meeting of the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq with delegations of the World Bank reported on October 5th by Mushbashir, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, Mustafa Ghalib, received delegations from the World Bank headed by the regional director of the Middle East Department, Jean-Christophe Carey. During the meeting, according to a statement by the Central Bank, discussions of continuations of bilateral corporations, enhancing financial inclusion, and various projects to reform the banking banking sector, especially the government banks. In the meeting, the governor reviewed the efforts of the Central Bank of Iraq in combating money laundering and terrorist financing and the development projects launched by the bank to move the wheel of the Iraqi economy. Tuesday, the Minister of Planning meeting witnessed a discussion of projects of the Social Fund for Development linked to the Ministry of Planning, as well as the review of projects related to the reconstruction of Recovery Fund. The minister called on the World Bank to expedite procedures and raise the pace of implementation of service projects within the two funds referred to because of its importance in providing services to the citizens. During the meeting, the parties discussed mechanisms to support human capital in Iraq by benefiting from the World Bank support for human development projects. Baghdad Magazine News reported Reuters today saying that Wednesday the OPEC Plus group decided to reduce oil productions by 2 million barrels per day starting from November, and the move aimed at supporting prices that witnessed in the third quarter for the first quarter losses in 2 years. The significant cuts approved by OPEC Plus group came despite pressure from the United States and other consuming countries to pump more oil into the market already suffering from tight supply. Reports indicated that OPEC Plus reduction will lead to a recovery in oil prices, which fell to about $90 after they were $120 3 months ago due to fear of global economic recession, raising U.S. interest rates, and the rise in the dollar. And you've been watching Newsroom Weekly Review. I'm Chelsea Smith, your Middle East U.S. entertainment news on reforms and economics, bringing you the latest Dinar news without having to keep up with all the different outlets. I'm here on YouTube every Friday, so don't forget to subscribe. And if you like my content, give me a thumbs up. I've opened up a Telegram group under Newsroom Chelsea Smith where you can review all our weekly calls, our shows and appearances, and upcoming events. We're also on Patreon if you missed those calls. Thank you everyone for all your kind support and shares. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.